We are the free-range, pasture-raised food animals, and this is our floor presentation. It's by Spencer Alamo, Jennifer Cabrera, Andrew Trevino, and Mykal Walker. Getting into the slides. So we have the benefits of free-range / pasture-raised. The meats from these animals contain less fat and more nutrients compared to grain-fed meat. There's a lower risk of disease, and there is also a limited exposure to antibiotics, hormones, and toxins. These animals are said to be stress-free and in a relaxed state while they're being grown for processing. There's also environmental benefits that come along with this, including natural composts and manures that benefit the soils. And it is said that the meat is better quality and tasting. This is from the consumer's aspect of the quality. So now the common free-range and pasture-raised products. The most common is free-range chicken, which is chicken that is raised usually in the open with no limits in aspect of fencing or anything like that. Then we have grass-fed beef, cage-free eggs, pasture-raised dairy products, which include like milk and cheese and all the other products that are derived from milk. And then there's pasture-raised pork. The most common places that these products are found in the industry are at places like Whole Foods or Costco or any of your local markets that have an organic or free-range or pasture-raised section. Based on the cultural and sociological importance, it is becoming more common to want to know where your food comes from and how it is grown. In the U.S. especially, this is becoming a popular belief. A lot of people want to know how their food is raised, why it's being raised the way it is being raised, and how the animals are being treated. Animal cruelty is a very big topic in the U.S. and has become more and more important to the consumer, as they want their animals to be treated properly and treated with respect, almost as if they were treated as humans. Free-range and pasture-raised foods give consumers a peace of mind when consuming beef and poultry products, or even pork products. The consumer, going back to they want to know where their food comes from, this allows them to know where their food's coming from, and they can sit at ease at home knowing that the food that they're consuming is safe to consume and that it was treated properly. The consumers also are wanting a safer and more natural product, and this is exactly falls into the free-range section of this topic. Free-range really treats the animal properly and gives them more of a natural environment to grow in rather than being stuck inside of a house or a tight facility. That would be an unnatural process to grow. Many consumers want to feel morally in touch with their food and know that the food that they're about to consume was properly treated. It really ties it all back together that the consumer wants to be in touch with their food. They don't want to be eating something that was mechanically grown or grown off of unnatural feeds or anything like that. They don't want a bunch of toxins in their food. They really want something that's natural to the heart and that is grown properly. This was Spencer Alamo reporting this part of the presentation.
My name is Jennifer Cabrera, and I would be presenting the second part of the presentation. American Grass-Fed Association was created on June 11, 2003 by a group of producers and food service industry personnel, creating the American Grass-Fed Association. Their goal is mainly to promote the grass-feeding industry in the settings of the government, market, and school background. AGA was awarded a $25 million U.S. Department of Agriculture Business Development grant to promote the association with producers, professionals, and consumers. One of the American Grass Association's top priorities was working with the USDA to establish a legal definition for grass-fed and to implement a labeling program to help producers receive a premium for products meeting the definition, while providing a service to consumers wishing to buy grass-fed products. In addition to the certification program, grass-fed ruminants producers, AGA commutes the value of grass-fed products to consumers, chefs, and media, and serves as a resource for information. Now we're going to talk about why we choose grass-fed. Grass-feeding animals is very healthy for them. Feeding them in rich grains grains creates acid in their digestive system, leading to disease and force it to create treatments with antibiotics. Healthy for the environment. Pasture-based farming restores natural ecosystems and wildlife habitat, reduces reliance on petrochemicals, improves the soil with organic matter, and reduces the greenhouse gases, especially CO2. It's also healthy for the people. Research shows that grass-fed meat is lean, contains a high percentage of good fats, omega-3s, and CLA, and beneficial antioxidant vitamins and minerals.
Okay, so this is Mykal Walker, and I'm going to be talking about the third part of our 4 presentation. So for many years, environmentalists and farmers have been going back on what is the proper way to handle livestock. But before we do that, you can't talk about livestock and farming without going into the greenhouse effect. So I decided to go on a more scientific approach to figuring out like what's the best way for this. And the fact is that most of the Earth's atmosphere is made up of nitrogen and oxygen, which does not have enough to regulate the climate. So putting that in simpler words, the greenhouse effect is important because it contributes to the survival of life on Earth. Basically, humans couldn't live on Earth without the greenhouse effect. So I know many people say that it's harming the atmosphere, but in all reality, because nitrogen and oxygen on Earth is less than the 1% of our atmosphere, we need these gases from the greenhouse effect. Energy from the sun passes through the Earth's atmosphere and is not absorbed by greenhouse gases due to short wavelengths, which basically is saying that for many people who believe that we shouldn't use greenhouse gases because it pollutes the Earth too much, the animals and plants that we use in the greenhouses is doing one or two things. First of all, it's making food for people who farmers basically who need to build in, obviously they produce the consumers, which is us, people who buy from the store, but also at the same time, the greenhouses are giving off those gases, like I've been saying, that allow us to regulate the climate on Earth for human survival. Unfortunately, while a moderated greenhouse effect is vital to life, an elevated greenhouse effect can be dangerous as well. So it's important for us to regulate how much we are using the greenhouse gases, because it is actually so vital for us for life. Okay. Another thing, there isn't one gas produced in the atmosphere better than others. It is only the quantity that is important. So for people to say that greenhouse gas effect is harmful to us or it's hurting the atmosphere isn't exactly true, because like I just stated, there isn't a gas that's better than other ones. It's just the fact is how much are we allowing it to go in the atmosphere and how much are we using it. So as long as people are using the greenhouse effect effectively, it's not harming anything. It's actually helping us in the long run. It was funny for me to look this up, because I had no idea that without the greenhouse gases, humans would not be able to live on Earth. So that was really important, obviously, for us to be here. And so why is this important? Rising temperatures may lead to changes in weather, sea level, and affect how land can be used. These changes are commonly referred to as climate change. Scientists predict even a small increase in average temperature could lead to an increase in more extreme weather. So, again, we're wrapping it up into why this is important for us, because we use greenhouse gas effect for so much more than just climate control, but we use it for produce and being able to make food like that. Farmers have been using it for centuries. So I think I understand that there is the warning that people are kind of scared to use it, but like I said in the beginning, we need it to survive as humans on Earth.
All right, this is Andrew Trevino. I'm going to be talking about the health aspects of free-range chickens. When a chicken is allowed to roam freely, it increases its exercise every day and allows it to live a healthier life. The reality is that chickens can become obese if not allowed to roam around, and a full-grown hen should not be gaining fat. If allowed to grow too much fat, severe damage is more likely to occur. So obesity in chickens generally comes from them not being able to live their natural life, roaming around and getting the exercise needed every day. And like I said, a full-grown hen should not be growing more fat than it already has. This could lead to heat stroke, which is caused by the fat building up and the lack of sweat glands that chickens have. Whenever they're exposed to extreme heat and they do not have the sweat glands to regulate their internal temperature, the extra fat traps the heat inside, and they can have a severe heat stroke, ultimately resulting in a death. Another hazard that a chicken may have by becoming obese is it increases the chances of them having fatty liver hemorrhagic syndrome. This is whenever the liver gains fat because of the obesity, and whenever they're laying their eggs, any minor touch to their abdomen or their chest could shatter their liver, resulting in internal bleeding and immediate death. Other hazards that obesity in chickens can cause is decreased fertility, frequent multiple yolked eggs, and oversized eggs. Also egg binding and prolapse event. So whenever chickens are not allowed to roam freely and we do let them get to the point of being obese, there are a lot of health complications that threaten their lives and also threaten the eggs that we rely on to sell and consume. And now I'm going to summarize what we have discussed in our presentation. So one of the main points that we had is free-range / pasture-raised food is less fatty and contains more nutrients. The less fat is due to the exercise that these animals are able to get, resulting in more lean meat. And containing more nutrients is from them being able to naturally consume grass around that is fertilized good. And then the next one is consumers want to have a peace of mind when consuming these products, and what helps is knowing that the product is more natural. Again, whenever animals are allowed to roam freely, it is a more natural product. They're not trapped in. They're able to roam around freely as they want, eat what they want. And that kind of gives the consumers a peace of mind knowing that the animals are safe and that what they're consuming is more organic and natural. Another point is grass-fed helps not only the animal's digestive system work better, but also has a positive environmental impact, restoring natural ecosystems. So moving away from the health aspects of the animals, it can also help the ecosystems by restoring the natural order of things and letting it balance out the way Mother Nature intended it. Another one is the greenhouse effect is not all bad. We need greenhouse gases to keep the Earth from reaching low temperatures. Like Mykal was saying in his part of the presentation, we do need the greenhouse effect to regulate the Earth's temperatures. If not, then human life wouldn't be able to sustain because it would just get too low. And then the last point we had was free-range chickens are less likely to have health complications due to obesity, such as liver problems. When chickens are allowed to roam freely, they get the exercise they need, and they won't gain the excess fat, which could cause them to have health problems and ultimately result in their death. And moving on, these are the articles that we cited, and this is where you can find all the information that we use to present this to you guys.